Good evening, ladies and gents. We are back to Just Pure Talk. Yeah, we are back with Just Pure Talk. We're kicking off our autumn show.
The fall series.
The fall series of Just Pure Talk. We took a little long break. I think we all had vacations to take, so took a break. Really sorry for all that.
Camping trips, rodeo things.
Yeah, there's left one more rodeo thing.
All kinds of stuff in our ways.
Yeah, so it took us a little bit of time. Just to remind everybody also that I have a French podcast that is all about rodeos. It will be coming back into a new format for fall, I should say. So we're working on it, and we will be back in fall with all these new people that are going to join to come and chat about rodeos and gymkhana. So just wanted to let you know to the English community. So yeah. So how you doing, Kai?
I'm doing good.
We're back on our podcast.
We are. We're doing the podcast again. I got a whole heap of stuff. We've just been so busy. You know, I'm driving back up into the mountains to cut down more trees on my property. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Slowly making progress on my little road. So,
slowly making progress.
Yeah, one tree at a time.
One tree at a time. You're building your bunker.
I am building a road right now to get into the property. That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so it's a road. Okay.
Yep, I'm building a road. So
down the road, keep on calling me.
You don't realize how nice it is to be able to drive into a piece of property that's already got a road onto it, but I want a bloody fortune to build a road, so I'm doing it myself.
Oh, marvelous.
And if I only get a few feet a day, then I only get a few feet a day. It's all right.
But it must cost a lot, no?
The last quote I got was $12,000 to $20,000.
Okay.
Which is a lot.
It's a lot, eh?
That's obscene.
Okay.
I think
so
that was
getting help on that?
I don't want to do it price. No, nobody wants to help.
Okay.
People
so you're doing it all alone? You're bringing down the trees?
They want to help. They don't really want to help.
You know, I'd be down there. I'd go help you.
I know.
I would.
You know, and there'd be two chubby guys in the woods with chainsaws. So I was out there sawing away, and I'm cutting these trees fairly close to the ground because I have to drive over where they're at, so I don't want any stumps puncturing tires and stuff like that. And I was getting close to the end of the day, and I hit a rock with my chain, and so that'll thoroughly mess up your cutting ability. So I go to my truck and I grab the extra chain out of the bucket and go to put it on, and I never checked them when I bought them. I just, for some reason, when I bought them, I thought, yes, that's the chain I need. And it was off by a couple links. So, and it was so long ago that I bought them, I'm like, I can't return them. So I had to pay the $10 to have somebody shorten them, because I don't have any master links or anything like that at the house anymore. So
okay.
So I got shorter chainsaw blades now. So now I got them all set up on my saw, ready to go. Excited.
Yeah, I got a question for you on the chainsaws. What kind of oil do you use for the chainsaw? I know you're going to say chainsaw oil.
For bar oil?
Yeah, for
bar oil, I've always used motor oil.
In the chainsaw?
On the bar, for the bar oil.
Yeah, the bar, the one you put in, so it lubricates the.
Because it was always available. We had a bunch of old cars, and we were always changing oil, and so we just had a 5-gallon can full of used motor oil that we would use on. Because buying bar oil by the gallon. Now, if you're just a regular homeowner and bar oil is just fine, it's perfectly good, it's perfectly acceptable. But one thing that people don't know is there's a little tip. There's a little hole. You know where that gear is in the front of your bar? That little cog gear? There's a little hole there. people don't forget, they forget to lube that gear. And there's actually a special luber that you just press in. It's got a little ball bearing and special grease, and it lubes that with grease.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, nice glass. Yes, I like it.
My wife done that for her. My wife gave me that a gift.
That's beautiful. Yep.
Yeah. There's another thing you're gonna have to get.
I know. I have to get the big
tumbler.
tumbler.
Has a cap and a lid, and you can drink. Now she didn't put the cap, but it's beautiful. I mean, no, I got that. She got that done for was it Father's Day?
Nice.
With a glass, with a glass. You know, I have a tin and the glass. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. But yeah, that's what I was doing with that. So.
Yeah. So you know what else that LPV bought to thank here the team rodeo team, my sons and me.
No.
We bought a I'm gonna get it so you're gonna see it. It's Yeti. Okay. Coffee mug.
Nice.
Engraved Les Productions Vernes LPV. Well, engrave this.
Yeah.
On it. So it's gonna be beautiful. So I wanted to thank my youngest son who helped us out the whole season.
Yeah.
Who wired everything up and all that. And then I wanted to thank my wife also because she did help us out. So LPV bought them each a cup, and me and my son will.
Nice.
It's a Yeti. You know Yeti.
Thanks to them.
You know Yeti.
I know Yeti. I don't buy Yeti.
Okay, why you don't buy Yeti?
One is price. Big part of its price point.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's
and a lot of it is I'm paying for a name.
Yeah.
And the quality's there. Don't get me right, but the quality versus dollars is not there for me. Does that make sense? Okay. Especially here.
Yeah.
It's so expensive to buy the Yeti products, and I'm like, oh my God, why am I gonna? I don't know. It's the DIY side
this
of
is
me.
Not. Yeah. No, this is not Yeti. It's one of my wife's friends that has.
It's like these. You know, this is Hydro Flask.
Yeah.
Highly recommend them. Worth every penny. I've had it for decades, and I have, well, not decades, but almost a decade. I think it's been a long time. But this thing has been beaten and dense, and it's still going. I've bought more lids for it than anything. I probably go through a lid or two a year.
Okay.
Because it falls and hits the concrete or something and just shatters the plastic lid. But
beautiful.
I don't mind spending it on quality. It's just when it's worth more than the quality. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but we're in the rodeo world, we're Yeti fans. So, yeah. And I got a Yeti beer mug, beer mug, that was given by Corona.
Does it keep the beer cold?
It does keep the beer cold, and for a long time.
That's
because
awesome.
that's the difference with the quality of Yeti.
Yes, Yeti is not a bad product by any means. I'm not saying that. No. I'm just saying cost-wise. I'm cheap.
No, but for sure that
some things I'm just cheap on, and that's one of those things.
A mug, 890 something milliliter cost me about 60 something bucks. Yeah, a cup.
Yeah.
And this maybe about 20 bucks.
Mm-hmm. But there's a quality difference.
Yeah, there is. Well, this is more. This is what you get where we buy our.
That's the double wall steel one, right?
Yeah. It keeps cold. It does keep cold.
I gotta figure out this. So I got a new chair.
Yeah.
I came running in the office, jumped into my chair. I had a Hero Labs Noble for God, I don't know how many years. Okay. Long time. I had that chair, 6+ years. Did something, bent it, bent the chair, and it was all cattywampus at a 40. It was weird. And I was like, okay, time to get a new chair. So I went to the Secret Labs. We're going to give those guys a try for the next 6 years. And we'll see how they work out.
We see your beard.
Yeah, he needs to shave too.
God, man.
God, it's so fuzzy. The camera can't even focus.
Guys. I'm in a little bit of a bad area.
Hey guys, how you doing, buddy?
It looks like he's blurring his face out. It's so fuzzy the camera can't focus on your face. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. If you're on our end looking at it, your beard is so fuzzy your camera can't decide where to focus, and it's just blurry.
Well, it's true you do have a blurry face. I'm not saying it's because of the beard. It's maybe because of the quality of the camera.
So when you turned sideways and you had more of your skin, it got sharper. The picture got sharper. I'm not kidding. He doesn't believe me. Was I not telling the truth for him?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I keep seeing it. I have to make my screen bigger. There you go. Now I can see. Oh, you're okay. It's okay.
It's okay, but I'm just telling you, it's fuzzy. Yeah. When you look a certain way, it goes fuzzy, and then when you turn sideways, where you expose more of your side face, where it's all flush, it goes clear.
You don't need to answer that. So how you doing? It's been a while, Truck Sam.
Yeah, it has. I wonder what happened. What happened?
Vacations, rodeos.
Yeah.
Vacations.
Yeah. I was gone 2 weeks. And the vacations, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So, had a pool installed. So a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, I've been working also the backyard, and it's summertime, eh? So, but mainly vacations.
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing, and I'm like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I should.
I don't know where this steel is at. Where the hell is he?
No, I should have taken a. Usually we should write something. Write to each other and say, "Hey, Dad, nothing tonight." Maybe that's a little discipline I'm gonna have to take myself. So do we have Ragnar tonight? No, because I see someone that's listening to us.
I don't know who's listening, but and I'm glad to have him listen.
Yeah, sure.
But things I did pick up here recently. I started smoking cigars again.
No.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
There we go. Cigar guy.
So I did my research. They came out with a couple studies that saying smoking less than 4 premium cigars a day.
Hey, DJ Mouse.
Hi. Smoking four premium cigars or less a day actually doesn't impact your health in any way. Okay. And in fact, may be a positive where it actually helps you de-stress and promote longer life.
Nicotine is a antidepressant.
It is?
If I remember right. Yeah.
Certain amount of nicotine.
Well, I don't know. Well, it is, but I mean, if you stop, then you're then it's worse.
Well,
I was fine.
The problem I had when I was smoking cigarettes and all that was trying to figure out what to do with my hands. It's like when you're smoking.
You're a truck driver. You put them on the wheel.
Oh, besides, before I was a truck driver. And that's usually a lot of things, where a lot of smokers are used to smoking and all that, when they're not driving. I know I'm number one. Thank you, bro. I love that number one. I love you.
Well, I see you guys doing that. When those guys cut you off.
Oh, hell yeah. It's like
they don't realize you got 80,000 pounds going up behind them, and they're like, yeah, I'm one car like the head of him. I'm just gonna get right in front of him in my little neon or whatever. It would just be squashed.
Oh yeah, but but a lot of times they don't understand how long it takes us to stop. I mean, just at 55 miles an hour, it takes us 278 feet to stop. And every mile an hour is a number 5 feet.
That's why I replaced the brakes on my truck. Because it wasn't enough braking power for all the weight I was carrying. So I increased the brakes.
Especially that you put more weight on your truck. So
I did.
Well, even these new trucks, even with, because our old trucks used to have disc brakes. Now we have, not just brakes, but drum brakes. Yeah, now we got disc brakes. Trailers are kind of bad with disc brakes, but it has helped us out a little bit on the stop power, but we still take forever to stop. They cut you off. It's just, it's like, are you stupid? I can roll over you and keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on ticking.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's kids in the car, I'll put it in the ditch. If there's no kids in the car, I'm running you over. It's my rule.
So, before we...
Well, it's like saying... Go ahead.
Give me a sec. Before we continue, just letting everybody know that if you want to come and chat with us, or you want to write in chat, please go to La Production Worms Facebook, and you will be able to start chatting. So just get acquainted.
And the Restream changed a bunch of stuff while we were gone, so we're still processing all that.
Yeah, exactly. So for the people that are on my private Facebook, go to La Production Worms Facebook, LPV, and you'll be able to chat directly. It's gonna pop in right on our screen, so you're gonna be able to ask us questions and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I have a hot button topic here.
Well,
okay.
I got a couple hot button topics. So a federal judge rules that the U.S. military cannot reject HIV positive enlistees from joining the military. So if you got AIDS or HIV, you're HIV positive, you can now join the military. You got to maintain, a 0 viral load or whatever it is they call for. But this has got to be the most stupid, asinine decision that I've ever seen this federal judge, Leonie Brinkma, ever make. She's a U.S. district judge, and I think just full of shit, because she doesn't realize that being in the military is not all office work. People are spreading their pain with blood. They're getting hurt. They're getting injured. They're patching people up. And now, if you got hepatitis, you can't be in the military. You're out. Because of that chance of getting somebody else sick on the battlefield, or getting somebody sick, in the rear, because if you had an accident and they patch you up and now they got hepatitis. The same thing with HIV. I'm sorry. You got HIV. You shouldn't be in the military, period. So that's my 10 cents. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Well, with that, I agree with you halfway with they shouldn't be in the military. But the other half of me is saying, well, I think there should be stipulations on where they can go. Because there is the medication out.
Here's what it says.
Let me finish.
Finish your load of bullshit.
Basically, it's like they're only limited to non-combat. They're limited where they can get the medication that require for them HIV and nothing else. They can't do no combat. They can't be going overseas where it's questionable if they can get the medication. Basically, they're stuck on the base in United States. That's it.
How is that fair to the rest of the troops? They're going to be taking promotions. They're going to be taking rank. They're going to be filling spaces in units as non-deployable members under your guidance?
Well, then they have to sit down and look at that, because what I'm just saying is they should have a right to.
No, they shouldn't.
Yes, they should.
No right whatsoever. Here's what the judge is saying. The judge is saying if they have undetectable viral loads who maintain treatment capable of performing all military duty, including worldwide deployment. So now you're a medic.
No.
Hold on. You're a medic in a combat situation. Now we put our blood type on ourselves. We do whatever else. We got allergies we do on ourselves. And now are we going to start tagging people with HIV tags? How about hepatitis? Are we going to let that in too? So now everybody who's got hepatitis has to wear a hepatitis tag. And then you as a medic, are you going to treat those people? Are you going to risk it? Because you're covered in blood and now you're going to get covered in their blood?
Good question.
Well, the thing is, go ahead.
I don't care if you're playing devil's advocate or not. It's wrong.
I'm not playing devil's
100%.
Advocate.
It's 100% wrong.
To me, if you're disabled, from an war act, I think you should be able to stay in the military. I believe that, everybody has a chance to defend their nation in one way or another, a non-combat role or a combat role. What you're doing, is like, hey, we can do this, but we can't allow them into an overseas base where they can't get the medication. They're non-combat, and rules need to be changed according to that. To where, I'm not saying change the whole military over it.
Well, and here,
but it's like, okay, your promotion is different from the combat people.
Okay.
Well, then that's called discrimination.
No, it's
yes,
being
it is.
equal.
It's not equal.
Because
so
if
you have somebody that is a infantry person, and you have two infantry people, and one of them has HIV. One, I don't know what the heck they're doing in the infantry. Because just during training, they could get injured and bleed on somebody and possibly transfer the disease.
True.
Okay? So now you're going to have that liability. Now, not only have you contaminated another life with HIV, you've ruined that person's life forever.
Wars like that.
No. But war doesn't have to be because I got sick because somebody in my unit had AIDS. Or somebody in my unit had hepatitis. They shouldn't be deployable. They shouldn't be allowed in. Period. And then you're not going to change my mind on it. You're not going to change my mind on it. They shouldn't even be allowed in the military, period. That's my view on it. I don't think it's discrimination because to serve in the military is a privilege. It's a privilege to serve in the military.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, it's a privilege. You have to volunteer in the United States military to get in.
Yes,
you have to volunteer and you have to be accepted. It's not like, hey, I want to join the military. Oh, you're in, buddy. Just do whatever you want. And most of the militaries around the world, they're all voluntary. There are very few that are mandatory service.
Yeah,
Taiwan, China, Russia.
Very few that are mandatory service. And the only reason Russia's mandatory service is right now is because of Ukraine. Other than that, it's all voluntary.
Because they need people.
Okay? So, yes, if you're in one of those communist countries or whatever, yes, you probably got a mandatory service. Israel has a mandatory service. Yes, they do. So does Sweden.
If you look at... Yeah,
but you know what they don't allow in their branch of service? HIV and hepatitis. Do you know why? Because it's a liability. Now, here's the other problem that people aren't thinking of. So that person goes in with HIV, right? You're treating them for HIV. When they get out, they're probably going to be covered under their VA. They're probably going to get a disability rating for having HIV prior to even becoming in the military. So now we're paying for their medication for the rest of their life and their treatment for the rest of their life when they already came in with that disease. And that's another financial expense for the United States government.
I didn't think about that part. Now I can see your part on that. Like I said, everything. People that are willing to volunteer to serve our nation should, have the same right.
I'm not saying they can't serve somewhere else. There's nothing saying they can't go become a firefighter.
Well, like where?
There's nothing saying they can't go become a cop.
Well, you got the same thing. You have the same issue.
Do they?
By
Do they block
standards.
that? No, I'm saying the military standard. I think you'd be totally stupid to be a firefighter or a cop with HIV, but I'm sorry, but it's like there's ways to work with that. No, there's not. What are you going to put them in a Tyvek suit?
No, non-combat.
There are very few people nowadays that get HIV as an accident.
I heard of a bloom.
That's a Ranger. Okay. You have to probably send him the info. We'll get Ranger. We'll ask Ranger. Okay. But I think this is totally, it's a no-go.
Well,
people should be writing their senators. People should be writing the president. You know what? If you're thinking about joining the military, I tell you right now, no, don't do it. Because of this.
Why?
Because you could get contaminated, and not only is it going to jack you up for the rest of your life, but it's going to have you're going to have a partner. Most people aren't going to touch you with a 10-foot pole after they find out you got HIV.
What about other stuff the military has done?
Yeah, I'm jacked up. Look at me. I'm very lucky to have what I have. Okay, and that's just from being in the military. Now you're going to throw HIV on top of that. You're going to throw hepatitis on top of that.
Well, HIV is more controllable and all that because they do have medication out there, But like
they got cures for hepatitis now too.
Okay, but the other thing is, it's something where they shouldn't be in a combat role. Basically, they
shouldn't be
paperwork. Paperwork only, working warehouses, that kind of thing, where they're non-combat.
You think when you're talking about that, I would say, hey, Mr. Ranger, I would say something. I would say something. What will happen is there will be injustice because now that they're letting him in, and now they're going to start saying, well, I want to be ranked. Hey, I want to be a corporal. Hey, I want to be. So.
Okay, so what we're talking about here, Ranger, is a federal judge says people with HIV can no longer be turned away for trying to enlist in the United States military.
What do you mean?
Okay, so you hear me, Ranger?
You should unmute yourself. Do you hear it?
Yeah, he can't hear. He's got himself muted.
You're muted. I mean, I can't unmute you.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll go see. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't got sound. No, something on your end because I don't see
something
you
on your end
without sound.
Maybe his bad area.
No, he's.
I mean, I see
you hear us
at, bro.
No,
yeah, I just don't think it's fair to the other people in your unit that you would do that to them, that you would put them at that much risk.
Well, maybe a compromise.
That's like coming to work with a thin. You're not muted. We didn't mute you. It's on your end.
Hop it up on the message thing saying, hey, there's no sound.
It's on your end.
You don't have them banned or blocked or muted, do you?
No.
Okay, well then that's not on our end.
Why would I ban him? Because he didn't buy my shirt?
Oh, that is a possibility.
That could be a possibility. Maybe I'll think about it.
But no, there's, they can
go into your Windows, go into sound, and make sure your microphone's turned on in sound in Windows. And then if not, there's also...
Because I'm on my...
What do you mean there's no sound bar in this system?
No, because we all have a sound bar. We all have and he doesn't. For some reason, he doesn't. Do I have to show you my screen? Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about. A sound bar and system.
Okay, give me a sec. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having issues again.
Like he doesn't have sound lights because your mic is not. So program your mic to your thing. Did you charge it? Can you hear us?
Okay, now you see my screen? See here? Soundbar.
I don't even see that. I don't even know where that's at.
But don't you see it here? Look at my screen.
Okay, he doesn't have a sound bar because he doesn't have his mic connected.
So look here, it's only written camera. It says sound on his end. Look, I can mute you guys. Yes, I can mute you. He thinks I'm muted him.
Try muting him and then unmute him.
I can't. I have no button. Look, no button. Nothing.
Oh,
none of that. Look, the only thing to do is kick him out, remove guest.
Yeah, well, he's tough tiddlywinks until he figures it out. It's on your end. Does it show your? Okay, hold on a second.
Well, I know mine.
Does it show your sound in Windows? Does it show your headphone microphone in Windows?
Yeah, man, we're in a space. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having technical issues again.
He's not answering, so he can't hear.
Okay, so let him handle the things once and we will work on it. Continue our show.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't think it's fair to other people in your unit.
Well, maybe they need to make a special unit. But it's to me,
a special unit to do what? It's not discrimination.
Basically, it is.
How is it discrimination?
There's a way that if they have, they have.
Yeah, I can hear you in Discord, buddy.
Keep them basically non-combat, basically as a support. They can be in their own unit.
Yeah, but those guys never stay non-combat. If you're in the military, you're in combat arms. It doesn't matter if you work in the hospital. If you're at a field hospital, you could be drawn into combat. If you're the logistics guy, truck driver, you could be drawn into combat. You carry a weapon. So where are they going to serve?
They can't leave the U.S.
And if it's not discrimination if you don't meet the standard. If you can't meet the physical standard, then you're not allowed in the unit. If you can't meet the height and weight requirement, you're not allowed to join. If there's standards for a reason, because that's the minimum standard for you to stay alive. Does that make sense?
I'm not singing without my mic on.
No, it's something where I see where you're coming from, but it's like there's other worlds they can play that non-combat.
So, I got hurt in the military, so I should have been allowed to stay in, even though I could physically no longer do my job.
If you can't physically do your job, then if they can't do surgery or something that corrected it.
Nope. I'm still not physically able to do my job. I'm changed for life.
So it basically you can't. Then I'd say, well, you'd be honorably discharged, and you'd be paid for that disability for your life with medical.
Okay. So now I've got somebody coming in with a medical disability, that could spread that disability to other people. Because they're contagious. It's not like they're not going to spread it. It's going to happen.
True.
And if you say it's not going to happen, it's going to happen.
Well, I see your point of view.
I hear Ranger voices.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah. Beat bumpy.
So you can hear us
now,
right?
Us now. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
So,
hear
now my audio is engaged, but it won't let my video feed come up.
Well, fine. Audio is perfectly fine. So what we're talking about here is a judge on the East Coast. Go figure.
No,
let me get this brought up for you.
Be out of here.
So a federal judge, August 23rd of 2024, in U.S. District Court, said that Pentagon's ban on HIV positive people joining the United States military is basically discrimination, and they can't do it anymore. So now you can join the U.S. military with HIV as long as you contain a viral load that's treatable, down to almost zero, and you can perform all your military duties, and he's gone.
Oh,
why do I even ask questions?
Fine.
He was talking to you. You know he was talking to you.
See this handsome Italian man.
Okay. So, anyway. Do you want to hear this all again?
No.
Question?
Okay. I got you.
Did you got the question?
No, what question was it?
Okay, so a U.S. district judge, Leona Brinkman, said the Pentagon's ban on HIV positive people seeking to join the U.S. forces, an ongoing stigma around it, blah, blah, recruiting goals, that basically we can't discriminate against them anymore. They should be allowed to join the military.
Well, see, this is where.
What about Omar here?
I don't. This is where I've never the thin line between UCMJ and then the civilian federal court system. It was we dealt with this in Desert Storm. We dealt with it again during Iraqi Freedom, where that they were taking soldiers and prosecutors, like federal prosecutors, were trying to charge these soldiers with civilian style crimes when they should have been brought, if anything, brought under UCMJ action. And especially if you remember during the Obama administration, Obama was like, oh yeah, go ahead and try them in the civilian court. No, if they're military, regardless of whether they're national guard or active
I get that, but getting to the point, should people with HIV be allowed to join the military? No. And why should they not be allowed to join the military?
Because they are. It's basically a walking biohazard. Because okay, for instance, if you get shot, okay, first of all, you got to understand that from a medical standpoint, HIV is a bloodborne pathogen. It can be passed mainly through the blood, but also through bodily fluids, saliva, semen, vaginal fluid, ass juice, whatever. It's a fluid based thing. Okay, you can't catch it from touching the person unless they have an open cut and you got an open cut. But let's say you're in combat, you're gonna have. I mean, those of us who have been to combat know that
open cuts everywhere.
Yeah. You're especially in the airborne.
Hands, knees, arms,
if you're laying,
face.
You're not sitting in a Humvee and you're huffing it on foot. Everything gets scratched. So you're going to have open wounds everywhere, basically just small little scratches and stuff. But it doesn't take more than that for, let's say, the guy next to you or the girl next to you has HIV and they get shot and they're bleeding profusely, and you go to help them, and your automatic instinct is to be a combat lifesaver and try to put some bandages on, try to ease their pain a bit and put pressure on the wound till a medic gets there. Well, you got all these cuts on your hands, on your arms, and everything, and you do that. Now what? You got all their blood, and you're not gonna, it's combat. It's not like, oh, hold on, let me get my rubber gloves, my gauntlet gloves, and all that stuff. That the paramedics use. It's basically you're just grabbing and going, or you pick the person up and sling them over your neck, and you got a cut on the back of your neck from God knows what, and then now all of a sudden you just put yourself at a higher risk of contracting that HIV because now you got all their blood on top of your cuts, and so therefore they're basically a walking biohazard at that point. Same thing with people with hepatitis and things like that. You get they can, it's a bloodborne pathogen. You can transfer it. Same thing with now tuberculosis isn't as big, but with the illegal aliens who call them what they are, I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah, you have tuberculosis, you can't be in the military.
Making a comeback, and yes, they have cures for it, but still, there's points at which you got to be careful about.
Sorry, I'm trying to mess around with.
Oh yeah. I was trying to figure out if somebody coming in channel with that every time.
No, I kicked off something and I don't know how to stop it. So okay.
But with there are good reasons why they do not allow, and I understand this world's like, oh, we got to normalize everything. Let the insane people out of the insane asylum because they're people too, and we should treat them as normal as we can. Wrong. And that's why we got so many of these people out there causing all sorts of problems. But as far as back to the HIV thing, no, I agree that we should keep a ban on it because even though the number of HIV people is probably very small.
Do you feel it's discrimination?
No, I think it's protecting them and protecting you. It's protecting everyone. It's just like, think of it like COVID. You're being safe. Everyone's like, oh, I'm wearing a mask because I'm being safe. Well, throw it back in their face and say, okay, COVID. You're being safe.
Can't use the C word.
Don't talk about COVID, please.
Oh, we're not?
It's forbidden. It's a verboten. It's not allowed. They'll ban your thing.
I will be warned. I don't want to be warned by YouTube, please.
Is that the Canadian thing?
No, it's U.S.
It's an American thing.
No, YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube will not allow you to talk about it.
A known disease, a well-known disease that has trampled the entire world.
Yeah, okay, that's better.
Well, yeah, and Oma, on the whole sex change thing, these people get sex changes in the military, which should not be allowed.
No, because
they're getting 100% disability when they're done.
Their taxpayer bill. That's because they got to take that medication in order to. They got to take medication for the rest of their life to keep the parts from, their body from rejecting.
And they get 100% disability for it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and our tax money goes to it. That's where your taxes go to.
Is it discrimination?
No, basically, they don't stipulate.
No.
So they're not stipulating that.
So here's the deal.
Saying, okay, you come in with this. That's
so you're
say
you're in a combat unit.
It's not ours.
Say you're in a combat unit and you're going to deploy, right? All you have to do is go, I want a sex change. I think I'm a girl. And they will pull you out into a rear unit. They'll send you to see a psychiatrist, and they will make you non-deployable for 2 years.
Yeah.
While you go through the whole psychological process of becoming a girl.
No, I'm sorry, but it has to be more than that.
No.
No,
if you come in with a disability or something, that should be down on your record.
You can't come in with a disability. You cannot come in with a disability. They won't allow you through MEPS. They won't allow you in through the. If you got like a hip problem or a knee problem or a shoulder problem, and it's not medically corrected before you get to MEPS, they're not going to allow you in. So why would they let you in with a deadly disease?
Yeah, because that's a disability. It's a disability.
You see where I'm getting? Okay, so then now we can let cripples join and be non-combat.
So you're saying I can't join either?
You can't join. I know you can't join. I know why you can't join, and if you want me to air it here on TV, on the radio, I will.
No.
Can I rejoin?
I'm handicapped.
I didn't say you were handicapped, but you have a medical condition that stops you from joining the military. You have two, actually, but
I have too many. But
they won't let you in because of those conditions.
A lot of people thought I couldn't do this job, and well, I proved them wrong.
No, I'm not saying you can't do the job. What I'm saying is, because of those medical conditions, they won't allow you to join because they have set a standard of these are not medical conditions that we don't want to deal with because the liability and risk is too high. That somebody could either get dead or they could die.
Well, it's something where maybe we need to look at, saying, okay, you can't do this because of that, and we can allow you to join another organization.
Because in the military, just because you join as a cook doesn't mean you're going to stay a cook. Because when the crap hits the fan and the enemy's coming, here's your rifle, grab your grenades, and now you're in a foxhole.
Well, what did they tell us?
As a cook.
Yeah, what did they tell us in basic? It doesn't matter your job in the military. It doesn't matter if you're a secretary sitting behind a desk. Everybody quals every 6 months on their weapons, or every year, at least, some depending on your job. But in the end, if like you said, if shit hits the fan, we are all basic infantrymen. That's what we're taught right from the beginning is basic infantry.
Especially the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is very hardcore on that. Everybody is a basic infantryman.
Yeah.
And then you have your job specialty. Because you could be working as the adjutant secretary, and then next thing you know, you're out on patrol with an infantry unit because they're short men.
Okay.
So that's why you can't, if that person goes overseas or they're it doesn't matter if they're non-deployable or deployable, they have to be combat ready. And if they're not combat ready, then they can't be in the military. Unless it's a medical condition that they're treating to get them better to be combat ready. And then you're in a special unit. But you're not going to be allowed to join because you've got a medical disease that's non-treatable and could be hazardous to other people. Or it could be treatable, but still hazardous to other people until you're cured.
Safety risk. It's a biohazard.
The drug cost alone for HIV medication is outrageous.
Well, and a lot of the HIV medication that's out there is considered experimental, therefore it's not covered under insurance, and a lot of it goes out of pocket. People have to take out. I mean, there are people that take out.
Now you're going to have people in the military getting that medication. I just don't see how it's going to work.
TRICARE will to pay for it.
How's it's going to work?
Like you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I am not really speaking too much because we're all talking about American military.
I guarantee they don't let you join the Canadian military either.
No, they must be all standard the same thing. Because I mean,
I don't know of any military in the world that would let you join with HIV.
Maybe the French.
I'm with you on it. But you know what? Everything, Akai, everything is changing. A lot of the rules are being bent of the past. Not bent. They're
Marxist.
No, they're not bent.
And it's progressive liberalism, which is basic Marxism.
Yeah, that's it. Because I said bent, and it's maybe not the right word. It's there's a lot of stuff. Look, like today, we're talking about genres. I'm not going to say it, but you're allowed to be called a man, a girl, a dog, a fish, a squirrel, a she, a he, a we, a he. So,
you have no choice in Canada.
No. States got that too. Don't tell me it's just Canada.
No, you have no choice in Canada because in Canada, with Trudeau's new wonderful plan of don't offend people, which is one of my other news articles that's up here that I know you can't speak about because I don't want you to get in trouble. His new, what is this?
God, that guy's on fire, man.
Trudeau's Orwellian online harms bill that he has come out with, where if you say something that's off center online on Facebook or Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, stuff, Snapchat, that you can get incarcerated for life in Canada now. This came out March 8th of 2024.
Oh,
is when he was doing this.
That's your brother.
And so he's doing that, but England's putting people in jail because they said something that the government didn't like. That said something because another group didn't like what they said about them.
Well,
and now they're putting them in jail. It's ridiculous.
You know what I would say? No, but you know what I would say? I know we have a liberty of rights of talking and stuff like that, but today people don't watch what they say.
They didn't watch what they said back in 1950 either. But you know what the glory of it was? Is if you didn't like what somebody was saying, you could change the channel.
Well, yeah, for sure.
If you don't like what somebody's saying on the radio show or a TV show or in the newspaper, well, you don't have to read it, you don't have to listen to it, and you don't have to watch it.
Totally.
So what happened to that freedom of choice there?
Because, I mean, we're
why does the state have to get intervened in my freedom of choice to listen or to partake in that discussion?
Good question.
I mean, aren't we all adults when it comes to that, where we can make that decision? Like, that guy's a crackpot.
Yeah. Did we
lose it's got to the point where you call someone a simple name or call it, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're making fun of me. Stop making. I'm offended." It's like no one has thick skin anymore. I mean, you used to call a jerk back in the day, and now you can't even say that. I mean, look at a good example of how far this has gone sideways is.
There he's back.
I was on Minecraft the other day with my sons, and they were telling me, like, the signboards, you can make these signboards and you can set them up and you can use glow ink to make them kind of bright and glowy with different colors. But there's certain words that are totally banned from I don't know if they're banned on the Java or just the Bedrock edition. But on the Bedrock edition, the Windows edition, you will put up all hashtags. Your entire, if it has one single word that is not by what their standards are. So, for instance, I put up the dark cave because it was an unlit cave, and so we were going to keep it unlit and not put any candles, like wander around it, and we called it the dark cave. Put up all hashtags. Couldn't use the word dark because somebody thinks that dark is, I guess, what do you call it? Racist, or something like that towards African American people. Can't use dark. You can't use boob.
That's becoming. That's where I think it's
to the point where it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's where I think it's ridiculous because now you're using a color shade, and people are going to be offended by it. And we're not saying, you haven't put dark person, dark. You're saying dark.
Yeah, the dark cave. It's a reference to the lighting in the cave.
But that's a little bit where we're going. Like Akai has been talking about the military stuff. That's where we're going. We are going into a state where you are not allowed to think anymore. You're not allowed to say what you want to say. You're not allowed to. And
that's exactly what communism and Marxism is. If people have forgotten what the ultimate goal is government control over all aspects of life, over everything. And it's not just, how much money you make and all this stuff. And I think, now, this is just my opinion. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just, I kind of connected the dots after the attempted Trump assassination. Okay. And my take on it is this. I think it was an inside job. Okay, not being a conspiracy theorist, just putting dots together. that in order, because you got all these Marxist leftists in the Democrat Party, they have been wanting that power back during the COVID shutdown, when they locked down everything in the United States except for some Republican-held states. They pretty much had control, almost martial law over everything. And then when they had to relinquish that, a lot of states, like Governor Newsom in California was like the last person to release his state from those shutdowns. And so they want that power back. And because Marxism also incorporates authoritarianism and dictatorish avenues, exactly how the USSR came about was, if you read the book of Marx, there has to be a revolution of the people, a Marxist revolution. I think what they were trying to do is, hey, allow Trump to get assassinated, and then the right would rise up, and people would just go nuts, and they would start a revolution on the right. That's what I think their thought process was, that the right, everyone has guns, everyone, and then they could start then they could start martial law, and then enact a martial law, use that to reform the government. Okay, this government we have no confidence in, and just like what the Marxists did in Russia is, during the revolution, they formed a new government body, and then communism came in, and that's basically what the government was, a communist government, and that's exactly what Kamala Harris and all these people want. They want that control back. Exactly why she wants to put price controls that would not help the economy. It would damage the economy to the point where we'd be like Venezuela with dollar bills floating in the streets because the money would be worthless. So,
well, I don't want us to debate on it, because everybody has their point of view on one end or another, and so I don't think we're doing tonight. A guy's going on the military, all these rules that are being bent and stuff like that, and now we're talking about politics again.
The military is politics. That's the problem. Is you can't have government run.
I know it's run by politics. So I understand that. I just don't want to go on to the debate, because we're going to kick off another debate, and we only got a couple of minutes left. So we're going to kick off another debate on Trump again, and then Kamala Harris. It was Biden before, now it's Kamala Harris. Now you guys are going to go off Kamala Harris, and I don't want that.
Interesting fact, if you haven't seen it. I gotta mention this one because you brought it up. So the DNC just happened, right? They just had their little convention, and somehow Kamala Harris is still the running for president, even though the way she got there was totally against how their party decides who gets into that point. Okay. She came in as a vice president. She was a vice president. Joe Biden decided he wasn't going to run. And all of a sudden the Democratic Party is going, oh, we'll have Kamala Harris as the president. And that's not how it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to go to a vote at the DNC. All those votes were supposed to be released that were released for Biden are supposed to be released so they can vote on somebody who's new. And so people like Kennedy Jr. and all those guys that were running got totally shafted out of the whole electoral process on who was supposed to become president. And I think partly one of the reasons why he did this, but JFK, who was running against Trump and Kamala and all those people,
RFK endorsed
Trump over the Democratic Party. Craziness.
Yeah.
A major Democrat runner endorsed Trump.
You have the Teamsters. The president of the Teamsters Union went to a Trump rally and gave them the endorsement of the Teamsters after the auto workers union, who Elon Musk even warned the United Auto Workers, hey, if they keep pushing these electric car issues, your guys are going to be out of a job. It's all going to be pretty much an automated system, and it's going to be robots building it like we do for the Tesla plants. And so if you want to keep the internal combustion vehicles, then you might want to think about endorsing the right party. And what I love is not just Kamala Harris. Just one thing, Kamala Harris. You notice she's going center left. She's instead of looking like the
did not know that
progressive, now she's trying to look like Biden back in 2020. This middle of the road, trying to suck up those middle of the road.
It's going to be an interesting. I want to see the debate.
Yeah, I want to see her talk.
I want to see the debate
and laugh.
And I know people in Canada and people in the UK and people all over the world are watching this like flies on poop. They want to see what's going to happen with this circus, because unfortunately, it also impacts everybody's economies in the world.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and here's the thing: they're going to do the same style. They finally agreed that that there will be no note taking, that mics will be off between for the person not speaking, that they're going to get equal time to respond, and that the questions will be equally hard to one opponent as the other. There's not going to be any like, oh, she gets a softball question, Trump gets the hardball question. They're supposed to.
I'll have to see the debate.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Yeah, but we're going to have to see the debate. Yeah, I'm totally with you.
We're going to have to see the debate.
Pamela is okay speaking. She sounds intelligent when a speechwriter writes her stuff.
Okay. As long as she doesn't ad-lib anything.
Well, the thing is, she's going to have to do something because if in the debate, she isn't going to have a teleprompter. She isn't going to have a speechwriter writing all the answers out. She's going to have to, and she won't be able to take notes. So the old word salad talking in circles Harris will show up. It already has. In fact, they said that in a couple of her stump speeches, she got where she had no teleprompter or anything, and she got up there in front of a crowd of people and started talking. Somebody asked her a question because she took a few questions from the crowd. She asked, and she's like, and started laughing. And they were like, no, this is a serious question about the border and the economy. And they were like, this is what's on our minds. We don't care about gender ideology.
Yeah, like I said, that's what you're gonna see. All that is gonna come out over the next few months, and we'll be here to watch it go down. Maybe we should do it. Maybe we should do an election special.
Yeah,
we should talk about that. We could do We could do an election special on election night.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We count the votes as they come in.
I have no issues with that. By the way, Oma just said she didn't talk to RFK. So.
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't know that she wouldn't even talk to RFK. And all these guys show up at the convention to put these people on, and part of it's to get their endorsements. And if you're not willing to talk, I mean, there are a lot of people I know that were like, I'm not voting for Trump. I'm going to vote for RFK. And they are not necessarily Democrats, but they're kind of middle of the road. And they really liked what RFK had to say. He was like the calmness in the middle of the ocean between these two other parties. And I think if RFK would be going against Trump would be in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Now, RFK, can you remind me who's that again? Is that going to be the vice president?
No, he would have been running for president.
Okay,
he wanted to run for president. Yeah.
He got assassinated.
He what? No, I know JFK. I'm talking about RFK.
No, Robert Kennedy, JFK's brother, who is RFK Jr.'s dad, who is the other one that was shot after JFK.
Correct, Oma. Yeah. And a lot of the parties have separated from their values, and I think a lot of these hardcore candidates are trying to bring back parties back in line, back to their original values. But some of these parties have gone so far left or right that you can't. There's no common sense left anymore. That's the thing I think it's missing from politics. It's common sense.
When the Democrat Party abandoned the working class, the blue collar people for gender ideology and progressivism, and okay, we're gonna pander to the 0.1% of the population and go and run with it and say, okay, so let's make sure that we have all the check marks. Okay, so Pete Buttigieg, he's gay. He has a gay husband. He chest fed his kid. We have we have transgender people, identifying as the opposite sex in office now, and in appointed positions. And so all they're doing is checking. It's not about the experience the person has or whether they're qualified for the job. It's about the identity. It's about, hey, okay, we got to make sure that, JKP, okay, let's put African-American, gay, black, female, as the speaker, as the president,
press secretary.
You had Peppermint Patty before her, circle back Jen Psaki, but it was, that
goes into that whole DEI thing.
And you see how pissed Hillary Clinton was about, and she kept talking at the DNC convention about when she got up, she was madder than hell because she was sitting there talking about the 2016 losing out to Trump on the 2016 election, and basically the Clintons hate they cannot stand Kamala Harris. In fact, right before Biden ducked out, about a month before, there was what's her face? Hillary Clinton was trying to get back in the race. She was like, "We need true leadership." She goes, "That's why I'm considering for another run," and she was shut down. They were like, "No, we're done with no. We want." And what they wanted was identity politics again. It wasn't about that she wasn't her experience of having all this time in the government. No, they wanted Kamala Harris. She's a mixed race, identifying 1 minute as Indian, the next as black. Her dad is actually Jamaican, but he's not black. He's Jamaicans that are mixed races that that aren't. She can't call herself an African American because she's not. Her parents aren't from America, and so therefore her lineage isn't. And her parents weren't from Africa, and it's so her lineage is right there in Jamaica and India, and so for all the way up to her making vice president, she actually identified. If you go back and look as a prosecutor. As a senator, she always identified as, I'm not Jamaican, I'm Jamaican Indian. That's right. She said, I'm Jamaican Indian, but then she started identifying as purely nothing more than an Indian woman. She because of her mom being from India. So, and then of course the media was like, no, we need someone we got to call you black. Just like, Obama's mom was white and his dad was black. And then they didn't say he was mulatto or mixed race. No, he was pure black. He was African American, and do away with the white side. So they just basically took her and said, okay, she's a woman of color. You've heard them use that, a woman of color, and then so she's a woman of color. She's black or brown, and she's female, which is even better than Hillary Clinton, who is a white female, and so therefore they checked a few more boxes off on the identity politics thing. Plus, she's a lot more Marxist and communist than Hillary Clinton could ever hope to be. Hillary was
okay. Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff to follow here in the next few months because November's fastly approaching. So
yeah. And we're going to be talking about different things, and we might debate the election. I mean, so you're going to have a Canadian point of view, and you're going to have the two American point of view.
Well, and then there's some crazy things going on, like just FYI, Mexico.
Well, we will have to keep that for next week because we are already.
We'll talk about Mexico next week.
Keep your topics for Mexico. Write them down somewhere. Keep your topics for next week.
Keep this webpage.
Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to go listen to our podcasts on Spotify and YouTube podcasts. We are there. And if you want to come and listen to the audio version, And then you can come and see us on YouTube all the time. Please subscribe. That's a Kai's thing. So
please subscribe and like and do on all of the platforms. Helps get our numbers out there. And then if you like what we're talking about, please share with others. And if you would like to support the station or support this channel, please go out to our swag shop at vermlandradio.com. And there you'll see a link to go to our store. And please buy things like the coffee mug, which I can't reach because I don't know where I put it. And Verm's got a different coffee tumbler over there. And there's shirts and stuff like that. And we really appreciate it. Thank you very much, because everything comes out of our pocket.
Yeah, so it's always helpful to have a couple of bucks more. Ladies and gents, and we will be better. Every time money comes in, we can get better.
Twitter is now charging premium to stream on their services. So yeah, that'll be another expense that will probably end up biting.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Oma, thank you for being with us. I hope you're going to be there next week on Tuesday. Really appreciate that you were debating.
Sorry for your bad weather, Samurai.
Yeah, sorry for the bad weather. And see everybody next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Have a nice one.